Every morning, do you wake up feeling sluggish, with stiff joints and a foggy mind? After 80, just 10 small morning habits done the right way can reignite your energy, sharpen your memory, and bring back the joy of living. Take a moment right now. Do your steps feel hesitant? Does your heartbeat feel a little unsteady? You are not alone. After 80, the body's internal clock can easily fall out of rhythm, leaving you tired, forgetful, and setting the tone for a downhill day if your morning is neglected. In the video, 2010, Things Everyone Over 80 Should Do Each Morning, I will guide you through 10 simple steps: waking up at the same time to reset your biological rhythm, loosening your joints to drive away stiffness, drinking water the right way to prevent dizziness, and opening the door to let in sunlight so your brain fully wakes up. All of this is grounded in gerontology and rehabilitation science, with levels ranging from easy to more advanced, so everyone can follow along. By the end of the video, I will reveal a common breakfast mistake that drains your energy and a 60-second tip that helps you stand more steadily. Watch until the end, hit like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share in the comments. My morning begins today. Let us make every morning a fresh start, youthful, energized, and full of life. 1. Wake up at the same time, every day. Have you ever felt your body out of sync after pulling an all-nighter? You open your eyes, and your head's foggy, your shoulders feel heavy, and your feet hesitate before that first step. It's not just tiredness, it's your biological clock veering off track. Past the age of 80, it's even more fragile. A slight shift in schedule can trigger a cascade of effects: restless sleep, startling awake easily, and a lack of deep or REM sleep. Mornings leave you sluggish, like you've weathered a stormy night. The whole day spirals. Food doesn't taste as good. Standing up makes you dizzy from fluctuating blood pressure. Your mood wavers, and your memory drops things you just heard. Sound familiar? Science says this isn't just a fleeting feeling. An analysis in Nature Communications shows that disrupted biological rhythms in older adults are linked to a 41% higher risk of frailty. The signs are ordinary but real: weaker muscles, persistent fatigue, weight loss, and a body that feels more fragile. The environment can make it worse. Nighttime noise or lack of daylight can leave you dozing off at noon, your mind muddled, sometimes mistaken for early signs of dementia. Sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? So, what's the good news? That internal clock can be reset. The key is surprisingly simple. Wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Imagine dropping an anchor into swirling waters. Your body finds its natural rhythm again. The Sleep Foundation explains, a consistent schedule helps cortisol rise in the morning to keep you alert, while melatonin returns at night for smooth, uninterrupted sleep with more deep rest. Harvard Health emphasizes this too. A stable sleep routine strengthens memory, focus, and problem solving, and it's tied to a lower risk of cognitive decline. One small habit with big rewards. Take Ellen, 82, who lives with her daughter in a coastal town. She used to stay up late scrolling through old photos on her tablet, waking up only when she felt rested. Some nights, she tossed and turned 4 times. The next day, she'd stand up dizzy, clinging to the bed frame, with no appetite for breakfast. Her daughter noticed her forgetting things they'd just talked about, and her steps to the garden lacked confidence. Together, they tried a small, evidence-based change, setting an alarm for 6 a.m. every day, opening the curtains to let in sunlight right after waking, walking slowly for 20 minutes around the block, avoiding coffee after 2 p.m., and dimming screens at night. 3 weeks later, a sleep tracker showed nearly 30 minutes more deep sleep, with only one brief wake-up at night. Ellen said her mornings felt clearer. Standing up no longer felt like missing a step. Strangely, her to-do list stayed in her head without needing as many notes. Her smile returned during morning calls to her friend across state lines. And with this new rhythm, she ventured a few extra loops to the shore, listening to the waves, not her racing heartbeat. But what happens if you let things slide? One wobbly morning could lead to a fall. One sleepless night could blur your memory for a week. So pick a wake-up time that suits your natural rhythm, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever works, and stick to it daily. Open your eyes, let in the morning light, and take a gentle 15-30-minute walk to reset your biological clock. In the afternoon, Skip coffee and dim bright screens to keep melatonin on track. When that inner clock is tuned, you'll be surprised. Your mind feels sharper, your steps steadier, your memory clearer. It's not magic, just the gentle power of consistency. Set that alarm tonight. Tomorrow morning, we start. 2. Move right after waking up. Have you ever felt your joints run dry after a long night? You stand up and hear a faint crack, your knees and hips stiff as if tied tight. It's not that you've weakened overnight. During sleep, your muscles barely move, and joint fluid flows slowly. Past 80, cartilage wears down, muscles shorten, and conditions like arthritis or degeneration make things heavier. Harvard Health estimates that half to nearly 2/3 of older adults experience morning stiffness, lasting from half an hour to several hours. The discomfort is clear, and the risk of falling quietly rises just from that first step. The good news? Just 5 minutes of gentle movement can make a difference. You stretch, step in place, and your circulatory system springs to life like a strong pump. Oxygen, rich blood, flows to muscles and joints, lubricating cartilage surfaces, warming soft tissues, and melting stiffness fast. The CDC says light morning activity not only boosts heart health and endurance, but can also cut fall risk by up to 32% in those over 80 by improving balance and strength. Another study found that those who do a short morning exercise routine have 20–30% better independent mobility compared to those who don't. Small daily gains build into major independence. Data from MDPI shows that 10 minutes of morning stretching improves autonomic nervous system function, boosts blood flow by 15–20%, and reduces depression symptoms. When oxygen floods your muscles and brain, you feel sharper. Your mood brightens like hitting a gentle reset button for your whole system. Meet James, 83, a retired mechanic in a Midwestern town. Every morning, he'd linger at the kitchen table, waiting for stiffness to fade. His first step was timid, knees like rusted hinges. He nearly lost his balance a few times a month just turning to grab a glass of water. His doctor diagnosed moderate knee degeneration and suggested light morning exercise. James chose a small, steady change. Right after waking, he sits upright on the bed's edge, rotates his neck slowly in small circles, then stands, reaches high as if touching the ceiling, and walks in place for 5 minutes, breathing deeply each breath like a warm pump to every joint. He does it daily, even weekends. 3 weeks later, morning stiffness dropped from 45 minutes to about 15. Pain levels fell from 6 to 3, and a stand-up, walk 3 meters, turn back. Test was nearly 3 seconds faster. Control returned. Watering plants in the backyard stopped being a chore and became the day's first joy. Nighttime sleep deepened too, because his body was woken up right from the start. If he hadn't changed, the cycle of stiffness, inactivity, and imbalance would drag on, and one misstep in the kitchen could turn a whole summer into exhausting recovery days. You can do the same tomorrow morning. Open your eyes, skip the screen. Sit up, plant both feet on the floor, lengthen your spine, rotate your neck slowly in a small range, feeling the muscles warm. Stand, reach up high, open your chest to let fresh air flood in, then walk in place for about 5 minutes. Breathing deeply, imagine each breath pushing oil to every hinge in your body. If you feel dizzy, start seated or hold a chair back. The rule is gentle, not strenuous, and daily. That's it. Energy rises softly, joints loosen, and the next night feels calmer. One small, evidence-based habit, repeated, and you reclaim your steady steps. 3. Drink water first thing. Do you know how much water your body loses during a quiet night's sleep? Between half a liter and a full liter silently slipping away through breath and sweat. Past 80, your kidneys hold water less efficiently, and the sense of thirst grows quieter, making it easy to slip into silent dehydration if you don't replenish in time. That's why many wake up dizzy, their first step unsteady, blood pressure dropping like a clock's hands hitting bottom. When dehydrated, blood volume shrinks. You stand, and blood doesn't reach your brain fast enough, dizziness rushes in. Other pieces fall into place too. Inner ear issues like BPPV, a weaker heart pump, or medications like blood pressure pills or diuretics. If you're on blood pressure meds, the risk of dizziness can climb 20–30%. Small numbers, big consequences. Drinking a 250–500 milliliter glass of water right after waking can shift the tide. That first glass is like adding fuel to your bloodstream, boosting circulation volume, steadying blood pressure, and rousing a sleepy brain. When hydration becomes routine, your body responds clearly, energy ticks up, digestion flows smoother, and the heaviness of a long night fades. The benefits reach beyond heart and lungs, touching memory and skin. The key is consistency. That morning glass of water is like the start button for your whole system. Meet Margaret, 81. A retired music teacher in a coastal town. Every morning, her throat was parched, her head spun like she was standing on a ship's deck. She'd sit back down for minutes before daring to stand. She turned to coffee to wake up, but her heart raced, and her legs stayed wobbly. After a checkup, she tried a small tweak. A 500 milliliter glass bottle waited by her bedside. She'd drink half warm upon waking, sipping the rest slowly while breathing deeply. Coffee waited until her body absorbed the water. 3 weeks passed. Her health journal noted morning dizziness nearly gone. The blackout feeling when standing all but vanished. Morning blood pressure steadied. Her hands were less dry, her lips no longer cracked. Most importantly, she walked to the garden with surer steps, no longer clutching the stair railing. One clear glass, one small habit, and she reclaimed control over her body. If ignored, silent dehydration can drag blood pressure lower, making dizziness a regular guest and raising fall risks just from forgetting to drink. So tomorrow morning, let a glass of warm water touch your lips before anything else. Add a few drops of lemon for taste if you like, but the crux is returning to a hydrated state before coffee or tea. Drink slowly, feeling the water settle in your stomach, like quenching tissues parched overnight. Then stand gently, letting your heart sink with your brain and feet. One glass of water, one deep breath, a touch of persistence, and mornings past 80 begin with clarity, steadiness, and a youthful spark from within. 4. Get morning sunlight. Have you ever wondered why, at 80, sleep becomes restless, waking you 4 or 5 times a night, while during the day your eyelids grow heavy and your mind feels foggy? As the lens of your eye yellows with age, it blocks 50 to 70% of blue light from reaching your retina. The daylight signal gets blurred. Melatonin doesn't stop on time. Cortisol doesn't start on cue. Your biological clock falls out of sync, leaving you waking, dozing, waking again, each disruption like a small cut to your memory, mood, and the steadiness of your steps. Ironically, the more tired you feel, the more you avoid the sun. And it's that shade that slows your inner clock another tick. The solution is right outside your door. Morning sunlight is the strongest switch to reset your body's clock. The blue light, between 450 and 490 nanometers, hits the light-sensitive ganglion cells in your retina, sending a direct signal to your brain's circadian control center, commanding it to halt melatonin production and kickstart the morning cortisol surge. When the system runs in sequence, serotonin rises too. Clearing your mind, brightening your mood, your body knows a new day has begun. At 80 and beyond, a clear morning signal is especially precious. Hormones stabilize, cognition noticeably improves. Many see higher memory test scores and a lower risk of depression. Just 5 to 10 minutes of morning sun, 15 to 20 if it's cloudy, can boost deep sleep by 20 to 30%, reduce sleep disruptions, and even cut the risk of falls by 20 to 30%, thanks to sharper alertness and reflexes. Remember, indoor light rarely cuts it. You need the real sky. Even a cloudy one is better than standing under a lamp. Meet Rose, 84, living with her little dog in an apartment overlooking a town square. Every night, she woke 4 times. Mornings, she felt like cotton, pausing before each step. Fearing glare, she'd put on sunglasses the moment she stepped onto her balcony, reading the paper in the shade until noon. Then she made a small but precise change. She set a routine to step outside within 30 minutes of waking, ditch the sunglasses, let her eyes soak in natural light, and walk her dog slowly around the square for 10 to 15 minutes longer if clouds were thick. 3 weeks later, her sleep journal showed nighttime awakenings dropped to 2, deep sleep stretched by about 20 minutes. Mornings felt steadier, the blackout sensation nearly gone. Her mood softened, breakfast tasted better, and chats with neighbors grew lively, no longer dulled by grogginess. Had she kept hiding from the sun, wearing shades, staying indoors, the cycle of insomnia, lethargy, and stumbling might have spiraled deeper. So tomorrow morning, treat early sunlight like light vitamins for your brain and heart. Within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, step outside, set the sunglasses aside, relax your shoulders, and take a gentle walk to warm your pulse and let your eyes drink in the daylight signal. Take a deep breath, let the light touch your eyelids and skin, then exhale slowly, releasing the lingering fatigue of the night before. Day after day, you'll find it easier to sleep at night, wake brighter in the morning, and step more surely on life's small slopes. Sunlight doesn't just warm your balcony, it warms the clock inside you, easing your body back to its rhythm, gentle, natural, and full of life. 5. Eat a protein-rich breakfast. What's your breakfast usually like? A buttery pastry, a bowl of thin porridge for easy swallowing, or just a quick cup of tea? Sounds light and simple, but those quick-digesting carbs are like a spark that flares up and fizzles out fast. Energy spikes briefly, then crashes. By mid-morning, you're ravenous, drained, your mind sluggish like it's counting backward. At 80, your body is more sensitive to these small ups and downs. An empty breakfast doesn't just leave you tired. It sends your blood sugar on a roller coaster, paving the way for insulin resistance over time. It sounds minor, but the consequences aren't small. The key is protein. After 80, sarcopenia, muscle loss, creeps in year by year, quietly sapping your strength. Protein is both the building block for muscle fibers and the fuel for messengers, like dopamine and serotonin, those chemicals that keep you alert, focused, and eager to start the day. A protein-rich breakfast, around 25 to 35 grams, keeps you full longer, reduces your total daily calorie intake, and smooths out blood sugar. The numbers sound technical, but they're easy to hit. One egg has about 6 grams, 100 grams of tofu around 10 grams, a serving of Greek yogurt about the same, plus a handful of nuts for 5 to 7 grams. You're fueling your body with steady energy instead of a fleeting flare. And when you hit 35 grams at breakfast, muscle protein synthesis gets a stronger boost, a small investment with big returns, a steadier heart, lower risk of chronic disease, and a day that feels noticeably sharper. Meet Walter, 82, a volunteer at the neighborhood library. For years, his breakfast was just sweet bread and hot tea for speed. By 10, his hands trembled with hunger, his eyes blurred with fatigue, and he'd reread the same line twice. His doctor suggested rethinking breakfast, no drastic overhaul needed. Walter swapped the sweet bread for 2 boiled eggs and a plate of lightly sautéed greens, added half a cup of Greek yogurt with a few walnuts, and saved the tea for later. He stuck with it for 3 weeks. The 10 o'clock hunger vanished. Lunchtime no longer brought an energy crash. His step counter showed a steadier pace to the library. His daily crossword puzzles started clicking again. His daughter noticed. Dad stopped rummaging for afternoon sweets. Dinner became slower, smaller, yet more satisfying. If he'd stuck with a carb-heavy breakfast, the cycle of early hunger, fatigue, and blood sugar swings would have kept quietly eroding his muscle strength year after year. So tomorrow morning, treat yourself to a breakfast that truly starts your day. 2 boiled eggs with some greens will do. Or a smoothie blended from Greek yogurt and a few nuts for easy sipping. Craving something savory? A simple portion of soft, digestible sautéed tofu is enough to carry you through the morning. The goal is practical, 25 to 35 grams of protein at breakfast, within a daily need of about 1.0 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, consistent, not extreme. You'll stay full longer, your energy will hold steady, your mind will feel clearer. Your muscles get the right materials to stay strong. Your mood gains a solid foundation. Start with the plate in front of you, a small change. Repeat it each morning to keep your body vibrant past 80 and your heart ready to keep moving forward. 6. Write a gratitude journal. Do you remember the last time you wrote down something that made the corners of your mouth lift? A call from your grandchild, the warm scent of toasted bread in your hands, sunlight spilling into your teacup. At 80, those sweet memories slip away like steam on glass because your brain has an ancient habit, negativity bias. It hunts for trouble, magnifying what's wrong to protect you. So even a peaceful day can end with a few nagging worries swirling in your mind. What if you could steer that lens in a new direction? A morning gratitude journal is that gentle pivot. You pause for a few minutes and write down 3 things you're grateful for. Your body gets the signal. Ease the guard, slow the heartbeat, relax the shoulders. The brain's positive emotion centers light up. A new pathway forms. The more you write, the easier your brain finds the good. Your mood steadies. Just 5 to 10 minutes each morning, sleep becomes calmer, anxiety dips, and daily energy inches up. It's like gym for the mind. No weights needed, just a pen. Meet Elaine, 83, a retired nurse. After her husband passed, she often woke at 3 a.m., heart racing, mind replaying sad memories. Mornings by the window, she'd notice only wilted grass or a fence needing paint. Her doctor suggested a gratitude journal. She made a small but steady change. She kept a notebook by her teapot. Each morning, after a few sips of warm water, she wrote exactly 3 lines. Nothing fancy. I'm grateful for hands still strong enough to make tea. I'm grateful for Jenny's letter. I'm grateful for sunlight on the windowsill. She stuck with it, even on weekends. 3 weeks later, her nighttime awakenings dropped by nearly half. Her morning mood score rose from 4 to 7. Walking to the store, she held her chin up, eyes on the road, no longer looking down. At night, her eyes closed more easily, her brain now leaning on a bank of positives. If she hadn't shifted, the slope of sleeplessness and negative thoughts would likely have stretched on. Tomorrow morning, try this small ritual. Sit down, take a deep breath, open a notebook, and write 3 sentences, specific, everyday things. No need for poetry, just honesty. Let the pen move before your mind objects, then read it back like a gift to yourself. Tired eyes? Say it aloud and jot down a few keywords. Shaky hands? Use a thick pen. Write big. The key is the gentle rhythm, repeated each morning, so your brain learns to spot the good, however small, and hold it close. A few minutes is all it takes to set the soundtrack for your day. Warmer, lighter, steadier, against the sudden breezes of old age. Start today. Gratitude, when practiced, doesn't just warm your heart, it brightens your memory and paves the way for joy to return. 7. Practice morning mindfulness. Do you wake each morning with thoughts rushing like a flooded stream? Things to do. Worries left undone. A nameless unease. Your heart races, your chest tightens. Before you've even caught your breath, you're thrust onto a racetrack. At 80, this happens more easily. Cortisol naturally spikes in the morning, and your brain has a habit of zooming in on what's wrong rather than what's calm. The result? Serenity erodes, anxiety surges, and memory fogs over. Many fall into that loop day after day. But what if there were a gentle break that takes just 2 to 5 minutes? Your breath is that break. Sit still, follow the rhythm of each inhale and exhale, and your parasympathetic system kicks in like a hand resting lightly on your shoulder. Your heart slows, your pulse eases, systolic blood pressure drops a few points, often around 5 to 10 mmHg. The cortisol wave recedes, sometimes by a fifth, even a third. Those mindful morning minutes are like tuning a machine. Attention and working memory sharpen, your mood softens, and a sense of control returns. Practicing something like MBSR for 8 weeks often deepens sleep, steadies blood pressure, and balances emotions. Over time, your brain is better preserved. That's reason enough to gift yourself a few quiet moments each morning. Meet Adrian, 81, living with his wife in an apartment overlooking oak trees. He often woke early with a heavy chest, stiff neck, and thoughts spiraling. Will I make that doctor's appointment? Did I call my son? Will that dizzy spell return? His morning systolic blood pressure hovered around 150. Nights were restless, his mind buzzing. He tried a small but steady change. A few sips of warm water, sitting by the window, feet firm on the floor. 5 minutes just feeling his breath touch his nose, his throat, like a tide. When his mind wandered, he guided it back to the sound of birds outside. He did it every morning, not aiming for perfection, just consistency. 3 weeks later, his morning numbers dropped 5 to 8 points. His resting heart rate eased by a few beats. The unease no longer flooded but rippled lightly like water. He ate breakfast more slowly, forgot less, and felt ready to walk earlier than before. Without this shift, the morning stress wave might have kept pushing his blood pressure up, worsening his sleep cycle, and raising the risk of stumbling when he stood. Starting tomorrow, give yourself this same gift free, needing only a quiet corner. Sit for 5 to 10 minutes. Relax your shoulders, let your spine lengthen, half close your eyes. Notice the cool air coming in, the warm air going out, struggling to feel it? Anchor to the nearest sound, birds, wind, a ticking clock. When your mind races off, smile and guide it back, no judgment. When time's up, open your eyes slowly, place a hand on your chest to feel a gentler rhythm, then rise carefully. The tasks are still there, but you'll step into the day with a calmer, clearer foundation. This small ritual, repeated steadily, can redirect a morning at 80, from restless to serene, from being swept away to being in charge. And from there, your heart and mind walk hand in hand, moving forward together. 8. Have morning social interaction. Can a single good morning change the color of your whole day? Think back to the feeling when someone calls you by name, a warmth spreading through your chest. That's oxytocin, the bonding hormone, flipping the switch for feeling seen and belonging. At 80, these small moments are precious. They wake your brain from mornings filled only with the ticking of a clock. A brief greeting, yet its effect lingers. Shoulders relax, heart rate softens, mood brightens by half a shade. But the harsh truth is that loneliness isn't light. Chronic loneliness is as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, raising the risk of early death by 26 to 45%, tied to heart disease and dementia. Over 80, loneliness fuels low-grade inflammation, weakens immunity, and can shorten life by up to 15 years. The good news lies in the opposite direction. A few minutes of morning connection act like a foundational medicine. Greeting a neighbor, calling a loved one, walking your dog with someone. These ties are linked to a 29% lower risk of heart disease, 32% lower risk of stroke, and 12% less chance of dementia. When you talk, oxytocin rises, the parasympathetic system kicks in, blood pressure eases, and sleep comes more readily at night. An aging brain still has plasticity. It craves human voices like the body craves sunlight. A new day begins, and you're not alone. Meet Bernard, 84, widowed, living on a quiet suburban street. His mornings once dragged, brewing coffee, sitting silently staring at the yard, flipping through unfamiliar faces on television. His morning blood pressure often crept high. Nights brought 2 or 3 wake-ups. His doctor suggested a small but spot-on change, a 3-minute video call with his granddaughter while stirring his oatmeal, opening the door 10 minutes earlier to greet the mail carrier and the elderly woman across the street, joining the community center's walking group on Tuesdays and Fridays. At first, he was hesitant, sticking to 3 repeated phrases: "Sleep well? What's your day like? I wish you a great morning." Then he noticed himself smiling before 8. 3 weeks later, morning systolic blood pressure dropped an average of 5 to 7 points. Nighttime wake-ups shrank to 1 brief moment. On the sidewalk, his steps were confident, his mind alert, no longer swaying at corners. What he loved most was his granddaughter's laugh through the screen, ringing like it was right in his kitchen. Breakfast suddenly had flavor. Had he stayed silent, sipping coffee instead of speaking, the spiral of loneliness might have tightened each month. So tomorrow morning, before touching a screen, touch a person. Send a text and make a quick call to an old friend. Open the door early to say good morning to the neighbor watering their lawn. Far from family? Pick up the phone to ask about a senior center's walking group or morning coffee club. Can't get out? A video call, a brief check-in by phone, or a few words with the newspaper delivery person is enough to spark your heart and brain in ways no supplement can. Make good morning a ritual like drinking water. On time, brief, warm. Each connection is a small thread tying you to life. Day after day, they weave a net to lift you steadier steps, stronger heart, brighter mind. One smile today might be the reason you wake 5 minutes earlier tomorrow, because out there, someone's waiting to hear your voice. 9. Listen to music or sing. Has an old melody ever lit you up like a song pulling you back to your first dance, a golden-leafed road, or a face suddenly vivid after years apart? Just a few notes, and your chest feels lighter, your feet want to sway. It's not just nostalgia, it's biology flipping a switch. Music cuts straight to the heart of emotion and memory, waking up the brain's storage of life's moments that make you smile. Listening, singing, or humming sparks endorphins to soothe, dopamine to ignite motivation, and oxytocin to fill you with connection. At 80, this natural happiness medicine is especially powerful. Your mood warms, anxiety dips, your mind clears, and memory finds its groove. Can a familiar song transform your day? Believe it. Your body responds too. 5 to 10 minutes of singing or humming is like gentle aerobics for your chest. Your diaphragm works deeper, lung capacity opens a bit, and breathlessness fades. Your posture naturally straightens to hit a full note. You lengthen your spine, open your shoulders, lift your chest. It's subtle, but it builds into a steadier stance all day. For a brain that's seen decades, music is like a soft broom sweeping dust. Attention sticks better, working memory flexes, more especially when little things slip your mind. Meet Lucia, 83, a seamstress in a small town. Her mornings were hoarse, breath short, heart quietly heavy since forgetfulness crept in. Where's the key? Is the stove off? Her daughter suggested playing a favorite playlist and humming along while making tea. Lucia made a small but steady change. A few sips of warm water, sitting upright, hand on her stomach to feel deep breaths, then humming a familiar chorus for 7 to 10 minutes just loud enough to hear herself. She did it every morning for 3 weeks. Her kitchen journal noted, morning coughs nearly gone, climbing steps without gasping, resting breath slower and steadier. Her mood score rose from 4 to 7. Afternoons, she finished weaving a scarf without needing many breaks. One day, folding clothes as an old chorus played softly, she suddenly recalled a friend's name, long forgotten. Music's like someone opened a window in my chest, she said. Without that change, gray mornings might have stretched on, shadowed by quiet sadness and spotty memory. Tomorrow morning, let music wake you before coffee. Pick a song that once made you smile. Play it softly to hear your heartbeat, then hum along, each note pouring fresh air into your chest. Voice hoarse? Whistle quietly or hum a warm to ease your throat. Worried about noise? Use earbuds. Close the door for a bit. Stand or sit tall to give your diaphragm room. Hand on your stomach to feel breaths rise and fall with the melody. Don't chase perfection, chase consistency. 5 minutes today, 6 tomorrow, the ritual sparks a habit. A well-timed melody can shift your whole day. A warmer heart, a brighter mind, and steps at 80 that still carry the rhythm of someone who crafts their own joy. Sing softly, but let the joy ring long. 10. Do something with purpose. What gets you out of bed after 80? A thirsty rosebush, the smell of bread you baked yourself, a newspaper folded to your favorite section, or a distant grandma ringing through the phone. Small things, but they're the threads tying you to the morning, a sense that there's still something to look forward to, something to do, someone to love. With purpose, your hands want to move, your feet want to step onto the porch, and your heart has a reason to beat a little brighter. Science calls this power daily sense of purpose. When you dedicate your morning to something meaningful, dopamine rises, motivation sparks, and your stress system calms, heart rate and breathing steady. Older adults with a sense of purpose are often mentally stronger, more satisfied with life, and consistent with good habits. Eating on time, staying active, sleeping on schedule. Large studies show a clear sense of purpose comes with fewer heart issues and a longer life. Without it, mornings drift in apathy, eating to get it over with, sitting to pass the time, staring at the clock without knowing what you're waiting for. Over time, initiative gives way to reluctance, memory dulls from lack of use, muscles waste because no one calls on them. It's a slippery slope. The longer you wait, the harder it is to climb back up. Meet Nora, 84, a baker in a small town. After retiring, and with her children far away, her mornings grew so quiet she could hear the clock's hands move. Tea went cold. Eyes stared at the yard. Hands tidied the kitchen for no reason. One day, a neighbor suggested a morning mission, small but spot on. Each day, water the herb garden as the sun rises, snip a few rosemary sprigs, write a quick note to someone in the neighborhood. On Saturdays, bring a batch of cookies to the library's book club. Nora started with 15 minutes, at a fixed time. The first week, her feet felt heavy. By the second, her hands remembered the feel of scissors and pen. By the third, after watering the mint, she found herself wanting to walk a loop around the block. Breakfast tasted better. Midday naps were short but deep. Evenings brought smiles from reading handwritten thank you notes. What she loved most? Knowing someone was waiting for the smell of her cookies each weekend, a thread pulling her out of bed faster than any alarm. She realized, without this change, aimless mornings would have stretched into empty days, and her body might have hollowed out too. Tomorrow morning, pick your own, meaningful mission. It doesn't need to be grand, just something that warms your heart. Water the porch plants and note the soil's moisture in a journal. Prepare a simple breakfast for your partner and eat together. Read a full article, then call a loved one to share the most interesting part. Or schedule a short call with a grandchild, asking one question to make them laugh. Set a fixed time, prep the night before. Tell yourself, this isn't a chore to kill time, it's a ritual to start your brain, your heart, your feet. Each morning you complete it, you stamp a lived mark on the day. When purpose greets you at dawn, the rest falls into place. Meals taste better because you're proud of what you've done. Walks stretch longer because you're in rhythm. Sleep comes easier because you carry a small milestone of meaning. You don't need to wait for the extraordinary. You need a reason close enough to touch as the sun rises. Then, morning by morning, you'll feel young in the deepest way, knowing who you are, who you're for, and what you're doing to make today matter. If you've come this far with me, you probably see it too. After 80, health doesn't wait for a big push. It blooms from tiny movements, repeated each morning, gentle rituals for yourself. A glass of warm water wakes your veins. A few joint stretches lubricate your body. Early sunlight flips the alertness switch. A few mindful breaths calm your heart rate. A protein-packed breakfast keeps energy steady. 3 lines of gratitude, a good morning greeting, a familiar melody, and a meaningful task pull your brain, heart, and feet into the same rhythm. Small things, but woven together day after day, they form a safety net, warm memory, steady steps, and a constant sense of, I'm still useful. Start close to home. Tomorrow morning, before glancing at your phone, turn to your body. Sip a few gulps of water, take 3 deep breaths, open the curtains to let in light. Then write exactly 3 gratitude lines or make a quick call to a loved one. When you're done, whisper, "Today, I live with purpose." Repeat tomorrow. It doesn't need to be perfect, it needs to be steady. Because what you're preserving isn't just numbers, but the quality of life, self-control, inner calm, and small joys as the sun rises. If this video resonates with you, hit like to let the algorithm know this is worth spreading. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for a gentle morning reminder from us. And if you're ready, leave a comment. Tomorrow, I'll start with, to let the community cheer you on. See you in the next video, where each small habit keeps building a healthier body, a younger heart, and a calmer spirit, day by day.